In history, you're studying about the developments that took place in your country between the 6th century BC to 6th century AD from chapter 2nd. In the second chapter, you studied about the political developments that took place during that period of time in your country. You studied about the formation of the Mauryan Empire and the coming of the Kushans, the establishment of the rule of the Guptas, and all that. In the third chapter, you studied about the social relationship that used to exist during that period of time. And there was an effort in that chapter to understand the social relations, the cultural developments to some extent, with the help of some very famous epics that our country, our culture have. That was made a source for understanding the cultural relations, the social relations that existed. In a nutshell, in the second chapter, you studied about the social developments or social relations that existed during the 6th century BC and 6th century AD. In this chapter, which is the thinkers, beliefs, and buildings, cultural developments between 600 BCE to 600 CE, it itself speaks that you are going to study about the philosophical developments, the developments in the field of religion, the changes in the field of the beliefs of the people. That started taking place. That is what you're going to study in this chapter. So we are going to discuss about the philosophical developments and the cultural changes that took place between the 6th century BC and 6th century AD in this chapter. To understand the developments in this field, during the period, different sources have been taken. These sources include not only the Buddhist, Jain and Brahminical texts, but also large number of impressive materials remains, which includes monuments and inscriptions of that period. One of the most important source of information about the philosophical development are some structures which we know as stoops. Though most of the stoops which were established in different parts of the country when the Buddhist religion was in prominence do not exist today, have been destroyed, have got destroyed with the passage of time. But fortunately, we have a stoop which is very prominent and which gives lots of information about the philosophical and religious changes that took place during the 6th century BC and 6th century AD. And that is the Sanchi stoop. So that has been made as a source of information for understanding the philosophical changes that started taking place. You should understand that before the starting of the period of the 6th century BC, it was the period of the Vedic religion. It was the Vedic period in which the Veds were written after the Aryans came and settled in the western and central part of India. That you also know that it was divided as the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. So Brahminical religion was very prominent in the beginning of the 6th century BC. But slowly a change started coming up. And this change started basically coming up because of lots of superstitious beliefs, lots of rituals that had become a part of the Brahminical religion was not in the interest of the common people. It had become very difficult for the common people to practice their religion. So new philosophical developments start taking place. People like Lord Buddha, Mahavir came into prominence after attaining enlightenment, and they started spreading their belief, their religion among the common people, which became extremely popular because it was extremely simple to, to practice. It didn't have any contradictions. It didn't have any superstitious beliefs or rituals that needed to be practiced. So it became a very easily acceptable way of attaining salvation for the common people, which was not there with the Brahminical religion. So in this period, we find that the Brahminical religion started declining, and Buddhism and Jainism started becoming very prominent. It started dominating not only the whole of the Indian subcontinent region, but also it spread in different parts of the world also, and became popular over there. So to understand these developments, we have taken the different sources, the literary sources, the monumental sources, what we got from excavations, and in that, stoops plays a very important role. The stoop of Sanchi and Amravati has been taken as a source to understand the philosophical developments besides the literary things related with the different religious and philosophical developments that took place. That has also been taken as a source of information about understanding the changes in the religious and the philosophical field during the period. We come to know by the analysis of the literary materials, the inscriptions and the monuments of that period, that during this period new religious ideas started becoming prominent. Important among them being Buddhism and Jainism. The Brahminical religion started declining, which again started reviving after the decline of the Mauryan rule. In this chapter, you will also try to understand about the growth of Buddhism and Jainism during the period, and also the causes of the decline of the Brahminical religion. The 6th century BC was in fact a period of religious upheaval in Indian history. Several religious ideas and traditions emerged in the middle Gangetic plains in northern India, which ultimately took the shape of a great intellectual and religious movement. The religious traditions which developed in the Indo-Gangetic plain can be divided into two categories. The traditions that were openly against Vedic religion, and another, the traditions and the beliefs that did not oppose the Vedic religion but promoted new principles of worshipping. So these two types of changes started coming up in the field of religion. Jainism and Buddhism became the most prominent religious belief of that period and most acceptable way for the common people. Besides, Vaishnavism and Saivism also became prominent. So we will be discussing about these developments that took place in our country during the 6th century BC and 6th century AD in this chapter.